Well, the vibes were back for about 45 seconds in the bottom of the sixth inning once Julio Rodriguez hit that home run. And then they were immediately gone in the top of the seventh after the Astros hit a two-run home run. So for a split second, we felt the joy of maybe being back in first place, but that quickly went away. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners lose this one 4-2 to the Astros. They fall to 52 and 48 on the year. Crazy that they're actually slipping close to being at 500. They are now a full game back in the American League West. And now their advantage over the Astros in the tiebreaker is just one game. So they're even losing that potential edge that they had. So very, very frustrating all around. Before I dive into it any further, do me a favor. Mariners are struggling. It's frustrating. And I know you guys are frustrated, as am I. But if you can smash that like button, that does help out my channel. It doesn't help the Mariners, but it does help me. Comment your thoughts on the game down below. And don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm about 20 subs away now from 3,800. Thank you to all the new subs, all the ones who have been with me from the beginning or just been with me this year. Truly do appreciate all the support, especially now when the vibes are just taking a nosedive. I know for all of you guys and gals watching the games, it's tough. It can be tough for me too. I much prefer talking about wins. It's much more fun. I think sometimes losses can create more content, but the wins are just better. It's more fun to celebrate when the team's doing well than it is to wallow in the misery. But it's kind of where we're at right now. A little bit of the same old as it's same as it's ever been for the Mariners. Kind of the same story. Little bit different tonight. I thought the at-bats were better, not good, but better. A little bit of bad luck there, I think, in the eighth inning. Julio just misses his second home run. The Trey Cabbage robs. Then we get the Trey Cabbage fly zone. Pretty low point there from the Mariners. Mitch Garver hits one down the line that I actually don't think that was – it was a great catch by Myers. I think he was just shaded a lot towards center field, so it looked like a better hit ball than it really was. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the exit velo on it. Polanco stung the ball pretty well in the ninth inning there. Not trying to make excuses. Still not a good offensive day. But, at least today was a little bit more better contact. And the pitching, obviously starting pitching, George Kirby, fantastic. The bullpen, though, not as good. Gives up some runs there, unfortunately, for the Mariners, which allows Houston to win the game. I tried to do my part. The beard is trimmed. I thought maybe that would bring some vibes. Maybe there was some bad voodoo or juju inside the beard and maybe a trim. I thought after the Julio home run we did, I'm like, hey, the new beard is working, but not the case. No, truth of the matter is I work outside in the summer. You guys know I'm in Arizona, so it's pretty brutal. So I needed to clean it up a little bit. And the Mrs. Trident is happy about that as well. So that's the main reason for that. Had the Mariners won, though, I certainly would have credited the beard for it. But yeah, as we go through the box score here, George Kirby threw the ball well, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Well is probably an understatement. Threw the ball exceptionally well. Kept the Astros off the board. Starting pitching's been solid this season. It has been this season, but this series is what I meant to say. 13 innings of 4 earned runs. And unfortunately, Kirby doesn't get the L, but the team takes 2 L's. George Kirby been fantastic. And after a little bit of a slow start, too, forget Kirby actually first month or so was fine peripheral-wise and everything, but the ERA wasn't there. He has been absolutely dialed in right now. ERA down to 3.2. And it's a shame that, his last 2 outings, 12 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and the Mariners have lost both games. Just kind of sums it up right now. Ryan Stanek, not good, gives up the 2-run home run to Jake Myers. I do wonder if going to Trent Thornton in that spot might have been a better bet. I can understand not going to Austin Voth, had a tough series in LA. But, and listen, Ryan Stanek's done a real nice job for this team. He was a late spring training signing. After Santos was going to be out, then Brash was lost for the year. So he was kind of thrown right into being a high leverage reliever. He's done a nice job. Been perfect? No, not by any means. But he's done a solid job for this team. But he struggled a little bit his last few outings. He had that one against Minnesota. I think it was Trevor Larnach that hit the 2-run home run off of him. The game against Toronto where Springer got him for the 3-run home run. Even in San Diego, he got 2 outs, but was very shaky. I think he gave up a walk and a hit. They had to go to Munoz for a 4-out save. Then in LA, I think he had one good outing, but then had the back spasm issue. I believe after a walk, And then, first game back, looked like the velocity was down a little bit. I just, hindsight's 2020, but I do wonder if you go to Trent Thornton in that spot might have been a better bet. But Thornton ends up giving up a home run to Diaz in the eighth, which surprised that ball got out. It was hit on a line, just hits the fence perfectly and bounces over. It was hit hard for sure. I was just surprised that ball carried enough to get out. So, I don't know, maybe with the way the team's going right now and some of the struggles, heck, maybe you go to Santos for the seventh. You go to Munoz for the eighth, and you just hope you add on some runs, and maybe you've got a bigger lead. You can use somebody else in the ninth. Maybe you say, screw it. Santos for 4 outs, Munoz for 5. That's maybe getting a little crazy there. And again, it's a lot of hindsight thinking on my part. But with the way it's going, I mean, you got to lock down any win you can get. This was a series where you at least needed to find a way to get one. And I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, one advantage maybe you have tomorrow is that Brayu, Presley, and Hader may be down for Houston. We'll see if that even factors in, but just frustrating to see it happen. And even after the Julio home run, and it felt great. It was good to see, and Julio swinging the bat much better and just missed another home run there in the eighth. So that's good to see. One for the Mariners and two for Julio's development long term. But it still didn't feel like it was a game they were just going to win. It still felt a little bit just not secure. Now, I didn't think that 2 batters into it, the lead would necessarily be gone. But I don't know. The vibes just don't feel good, right? And when you're going like this, earlier in the year, some of those White Sox games or some of the other games where the Mariners rallied. The Houston series a few months ago, the 4-game series in Seattle, where Seattle won 3 out of 4. No game felt over. You always felt like you were just that close to making the big comeback. And it's just a 180 right now. I mean, nothing feels safe. They're in one of those stretches I talk about a lot where I don't even know what winning a baseball game feels like right now. It feels so off that I can't even really fathom what the Mariners winning looks like, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Obviously, yes, I know they've won games. They will win a game again this year, but they're just going through it. Like they can't buy a win. And it's unfortunately come at the most important stretch of the season where they're seeing divisions and playoffs just literally slip away, unfortunately. And with Ryan Stanek too, I actually thought the Pena walk was somewhat more frustrating than the Myers home run. I feel like Jeremy Pena is a guy that does he walk a lot? Let me check it out. I don't think he has a high walk rate. I should probably look. I was going to make that comment, but I want to make sure that his walk rate is pretty low. I think it is. Yeah, 9 percentile base on ball percentage, according to Savant. So someone you want to finish off. They're not a terrible player or anything like that, but you hate to give them a free pass. And listen, the Myers home run still stinks too. You don't want to give up home runs, but you'd like to find a way to get Pena out in that situation, and Stanek couldn't do it, which was really frustrating. And leadoff walks always seem to be killers. But Kirby solid, Stanek not. Thornton 3 strikeouts inning in a third. At that point, the Diaz home run's frustrating, makes it a 2-run game, but not terrible from Thornton. And Voth was good in the ninth inning with the strikeout. Good to see Voth bounce back a little bit after a real tough series against the Angels. Mariners today, 3 hits, 6 walks. They do work some base on balls today. Not great against Valdez. Listen, they've actually had Framber Valdez's number a little bit this year, so not shocked that he bounced back and pitched a good game. Here's the thing. Getting shut down by Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez is not necessarily where the indictment of this offense should be, but I can't give them passes because of how bad they've been. It would be, listen, let's say George Kirby got beat up tonight. Would I give George Kirby a pass? I mean, it's an important game. He needs to be better. But yeah, Kirby's been exceptional this year, right? Like, it happens. You can't be perfect every game. And Kirby was great tonight, but just saying if that happened. The offense has been bad all year. I can't give them a pass against good pitchers because they're not hitting poor pitchers well. Again, this probably isn't the game that we should be super mad at necessarily. But when you add it all together, if the Mariners were 4th in baseball in WRC plus, yeah, I'd give them a pass. Like, it's a tough battle against Valdez. Not a pass, that's probably the wrong word, but I'd be less mad at them, less annoyed, less frustrated. But, they've been awful. And I can't just, there's 62 games left, right? This is game 100. I can't believe we're 100 games into this season. It's put up or shut up time. And They've squandered opportunities against poor teams. They lose the Marlins series. They lose 3 out of 4 to the Angels, who are awful. Even the Rays series, a series they probably should have won. The Blue Jays, who I think are a little bit better than their record, but still not a very good team, come in and take 2 out of 3 from you. So you've squandered all these opportunities against the teams you should be beating. It's forced you to have to beat the Astros. The Astros are really good. It's not shocking. The Mariners were 5-2 against them this year. Houston was going to get some wins against you eventually. And I just realized that pennant back there is backwards. That's going to annoy me, but whatever. Let's keep going with it. I'm not OCD, but little things like that when I see it in the background drive me nuts. But yeah, they were going to get you eventually. It's why you've got to beat up on the bad teams, because what do I always say? Beat up on the bad teams, break even with the good teams. They haven't beaten up on the bad teams. They've actually, I think, been okay at breaking even with the good teams this year for the most part. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they put themselves in this position. So they deserve criticism for this. And still, on top of just poor overall play, boneheaded mistakes still, right? Jonathan Clase getting picked off there in the 7th inning. Mitch Haniger gets on base, works a leadoff walk against Abreu. Clase pinch runs down by 1. Abreu's an outstanding reliever. But, it can get a little wild sometimes. You get a base runner, maybe you get something going. Then for Clase to get picked off there, can't happen. Clase comes in and to do one thing and gets picked off doing it. It's inexcusable. It can't happen. I mean, it happened, but it shouldn't happen. Maybe that's the better word to use there. And then Rayleigh strikes out and JP strikes out, and inning over. And it's just amazing. Leadoff walk, you feel like, okay, here we go. And look at the microcosm of the 7th inning, right? Or it's not microcosm, but look at the tail what's the word I'm looking for here? A team that's rolling in Houston. Leadoff walk by Pena, Myers 2-run home run. Team that's struggling, the Mariners, Clase or Haniger leadoff walk, Clase picked off, Rayleigh strikeout, JP strikeout. It's teams going in opposite directions right now, and that's that it's not so much they're going in opposite directions, so that happens. Those things happen, so they're going in opposite directions. Astros are playing more fundamentally sound baseball than the Mariners right now. That's gonna win you some games. I mean, Mariners need to do more and play fundamentally sound baseball. They need to play good baseball. They're not doing either one of those things. That's what I talked about a little bit with the luck, right? Like they hit some balls hard in the 8th, probably a little unlucky there, but they're also playing bad baseball. If you're playing really good and dialed in, you can get some tough breaks and still win. When you're playing really poorly and not getting breaks, you are going to go way, way down. And, it just can't happen in that situation. Mariners did get a chance. They had a couple pitch clock violation benefits. Yordan Alvarez strikes out in the 1st inning on a pitch clock violation. Clase reaches in the 9th on a pitch clock violation. Just need about 8 more of those and would have had a couple runs and maybe won the game. Maybe that's a new strategy. Just try to get pitch clock violations. Need Caballero back for that. He was the master of the manipulation of the pitch clock there. The frustrating thing is you've done pretty well against the Astros offense this series. 6th in baseball in WRC+. They don't strike out hardly at all. I think 3rd or 4th lowest in strikeout rate. Mariners pitching's done their job. Castillo and Kirby have given them chances to win. And I know Brown and Valdez are tough, but, not to beat a dead horse or bring up the same things again, but you've squandered opportunities. You have to beat these guys, and they're not getting it done. Don't have a lot of faith that they'll get it done tomorrow. Blanco's been really good. Brian Woo's been great. A little shaky last time out, but, you just don't know because Woo's been so inconsistent with being able to stay healthy. You just don't know how many pitches he's going to be able to go, how deep he's going to be able to go into the game. You do have Santos and Munoz available easily tomorrow. Man, if it's close after 5 innings, I would turn it over to those guys. I'm not saving them for later in the game. I'm using them when you got a chance. If it's 1-0 in the 6th inning, go to Munoz. I don't care and hope you add on some runs. Here's the thing. Look at tonight, right? Mariners are 9 outs away from a win. Their 2 best relievers didn't even take the mound. Now, I'm not necessarily getting too much on Scott for that. Stanek gave up the runs and there's still outs, and you can only have Santos and Munoz cover so many outs. But I think you guys know what I'm getting at. They sat on the bench today. Maybe you just go to them there. You got the lead. Let's not get cute. Go to Santos in the 7th, Munoz in the 8th. Well, Jay, what do you do in the 9th? You hope you add on some runs and it's 3-4-1. It's an easier spot for an Austin Voth or Ryan Stanek than in the 9th. I don't know. Offense has got to score more runs too. I can sit here and get on bullpen decisions. It doesn't matter. You scored 2 runs in 2 games. That's just not going to win you a lot of baseball games overall. So, Boston lost. I should probably keep track of the wild card a little bit more here. I'm not even sure where the Mariners stand in that. Just frustrating. Just frustrating. Bad vibes, bad baseball, bad all around outside of the pitching. And that's in turn what makes, or it just makes it also even more frustrating. You're getting the pitching. Your stars have done their job this series and, nothing to capitalize on it. So, and then even, you get the Angels next series, you're going to face Soriano and Tyler Anderson in that series. Both those guys have been really good. We saw them last week. The Mariners did okay against Anderson, struggled against Soriano. So even there, it's not necessarily going to be easy to just rebound against the Angels. And then the White Sox are going to face Fetty and Crochet. So it's not going to get, it's going to get easier. The Angels and White Sox are worse teams than the Astros, but it's not necessarily just going to be a cakewalk here either. And they got to do something to turn it around. And, listen, I can understand they haven't made a move yet. The trades may not be there, but how much longer can you trot Ty France out there? Go put Tyler Locklear. What harm is it going to do to throw Tyler Locklear into this lineup? What harm? What harm is it going to do to say, Ty France, thank you, appreciate all you've done for this team, but we're rolling with Tyler Locklear? What harm is it going to do to go send the Tigers, I don't know, a bag of peanuts for Mark Canha and have him replace Mitch Haniger? I don't know if it's going to matter. Honestly, I don't. But, and listen, I'm at the point, I get it. I get those guys are great for the clubhouse. I get they're well-liked. But if the team's falling apart and dropping off, it doesn't matter what good the clubhouse chemistry is. Talent wins. At the end of the day, good baseball players produce wins. Same thing in football. The 2013 Seahawks were punching each other before the Super Bowl. They won because they're a really darn talented football team. You can have the best vibes in the world, but if it's not bringing out wins, and I'm not saying clubhouse chemistry doesn't matter. I believe it does. I believe you want to have those guys united. And I'm not saying that I think Mitch Haniger or Ty France are good guys to have in that clubhouse, but they're dragging the team down with their on-the-field performance. And I can understand, certain guys aren't available yet or just the trades aren't there to be made. But you could call Tyler Locklear up tomorrow. It's worth a shot, right? Even if it's worse, so what? At least it's a young prospect getting a chance to prove himself. It's something there, right? Again, Victor Robles continues to be your best position player right now. And listen, even in terms of trades, it might sound funny. Really, Mark Canha? And listen, Canha might stink. I have no idea. But sometimes it's not always top-tier guys that make an impact. Me and Mariners sort of talked about it, right? Like Carlos Santana was not killing it in Kansas City when he came over 2 years ago. He was showing signs in Kansas City of coming out of a funk, but he wasn't like a stud. But he came in, really helped stabilize that position and gave them a valuable DH to have in the postseason. Victor Robles, picked up off waivers, has provided a little bit of a spark, doing the best he can. Maybe just getting someone fresh in here. Like I said, it may not even matter. I don't know. I'm not saying that acquiring Mark Canha and calling up Tyler Locklear saves the season. Probably doesn't. But you got to try. You got to mix something up here. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm losing my voice. I'm out of here. I'm calling it a night, guys. Have at it. Rip the team apart in the comments. Godspeed to all of you. I'm dipping out from this team till tomorrow. Special one tomorrow. The Collins brothers from Collins It Like It Is podcast will be joining me on the post game. It'll be later tomorrow night. I'm not sure what time, but they'll be on with me, so that'll be fun. So we'll have a 3-headed monster to rip this team apart or maybe celebrate salvaging a game in the series. So probably more of a series recap. So tune in for that. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Go Mariners. Peace.